Welcome to the leadoff man, brought to you by Danley's Garage World, #1 in custom-built garages with over 60,000 homeowners sold. Open daily noon till 8 p.m. Open today Sunday till 5 p.m. Hello again, everybody. Milo Hamilton right back with you. Jack is our guest, as we've been telling you most of this week. I hope you were with us early today before the first game to see that wonderful tape of many of the memories of a stroll down memory lane with Jack, and we're going to do a little more of that and have him reflect on some of the things. Fan Appreciation Day here could be put into two perspectives, I guess. But right now we're going down on the field. Buck Peden is down there, and let's join Buck on the field.
Jack Brickhouse has been broadcasting for over 40 years. Mr. Andrew J. McKenna, chairman of the board of the Cubs, presented Jack with a lifetime pass to Wrigley Field, along with a plaque. Contained in the contents and the message of this plaque was this statement: to inspire those to follow in his footsteps with the dignity, class, and style which he always displayed while reporting on the Chicago Cubs, we are permanently naming the Wrigley Field television announcing area as a Jack Brickhouse booth. It will be appropriately marked with a bronze plaque similar to this artist's rendering, and it will be installed at a formal dedication ceremony at an appropriate date to be announced. Jack, from all of us in the Cubs organization, as long as there is a Cub home TV booth, there will always be a booth named Brickhouse. Now let's have a warm salute from all the fans to show how much we love Jack Brickhouse.
And there it is, a salute from the heart of Cub fandom at Wrigley Field on the final day of 1981. We'll be back with Jack right after this message. Well, joining us now is Vince Lloyd. Vince, of course, is in the booth next door all the time, but there was a day when he was right here in this booth. A lot of great memories, huh, Vince?
Oh, Milo, we had about 10 years together, and while we didn't have a championship on the north side, I had the opportunity to work alongside a champion for all those many, many years. And Jack, a little earlier, Commissioner Brezek was here, of course, with us, and his father along, and he and I were reminiscing about the early days when we were doing, among other things, wrestling on Channel 9, and the Commissioner's father was there with us many, many times.
Sure.
But I want to thank you so very, very much for the really great memories that I have of working alongside with you for so many years and being associated with you, and I mean this so sincerely. There is nobody in broadcasting in any capacity that I think more of than I do you, Jack Brickhouse. Even though you're not too great a gin rummy player, by golly, you pay off in a hurry, and that's important. But thanks for the memories.
Well, I had
friend.
a lot of practice paying off to him.
There's nobody in the business that will ever achieve the stature of Jack Brickhouse, in my estimation.
Vince,
God bless you, my boy.
thank you for coming over, because this was something that had to be done. The years you spent here, couldn't have missed having you over during the telecast.
I appreciate it very, very much. And I know, Milo, we're going to see Jack around here next year.
You bet.
We'll have to.
Well,
Good luck to you, and I hope you stay in the business just as long as you want to.
Well, Vinny,
We're all better off
I don't
with
know
you
how
here.
I can support the Vince Lloyd Foundation if I don't stay in the business.
We're going to have a little party for you in the next road trip.
Oh, great. Hey, no
All right?
kidding?
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
We took up a collection. We got $5 so far.
Hope we have hope we have a night game the next day and not a day game.
And just be sure to bring a deck of cards.
Oh, yeah. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you, Vince.
Let's win this second game.
You
All
betcha.
right, pal.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vinny.
Let's-
God bless you.
Let's wrap it up in grand
My boy.
style by winning the second game. All right, Jack.
Well, you know, one of the great things that I've had is the chance of working with nothing but great guys, nothing but really classy fellas. Every partner I've ever had in the booth has been just such a delight to work with, and there are no exceptions. I've been, you know, starting with Harry Creighton, and then Vince, and then Marty Hogan, God rest his soul, Jimmy West, Lloyd Pettit, Lou Bodreau, Joe Wilson, fellas like that, not necessarily in that order, and now Milo Hamilton. And I'm going to tell you something, everyone a real winner, a real champion, and they make it such a delight. You know, a booth is not the easiest place to be sometimes. Everybody doesn't feel great every day. So, and this can be a hotbed of personalities. It's our whole business is. And this is a pressure chamber. And sometimes we're going to see more of ourselves and more of each other than we do of our own wives or our own families. And so everybody has to be prepared to go at least 60% of the way the next day. Don't forget, every mistake you make is magnified by however many people are watching or listening that particular moment. And we're aware of that. And we know that we have a big job to do with a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility involved. And that means that sometimes you would have to certainly understand if now and then a temper flare-up were to take place. I have been so lucky with the people with whom I've worked down through the years. And, of course, behind the scenes, Jack Jacobson, Leroy Olliger, Arnie Harris. And I'm speaking now, when I talk about them, I am now also talking about our crew. And later on, of course, I'm going to get around to names on those crews this week. But let them be symbolic of the crew at this point. I've watched Arnie develop into the greatest single television sports director in the United States of America, and I mean that. Jack Rosenberg, there is nobody like him, just nobody in this world like him. We've been lucky down through the years to have bosses who are sports-minded people. We'll start right out with Quinn Ryan, who hired me and was one of the great pioneer broadcasters. Frank Schreiber, who said, let's feature this guy. Talking about general managers now. Ward Quall, my announcing colleague and buddy, who also said, let's build Jack. And Dan Picaro, who's just taken retirement now after many years of great service. And now we have our new head man, Jim Dowdle, who I guarantee is as sports-minded as any of them, maybe more so, because Jim is one of those great Southside Irishmen who loves this game of baseball. And this is the way it is. We've been so lucky to be involved with the people that we are working with. And believe me, that's what it's all about, Milo.
Jack, I'm going to take you back a little deeper than that. You've told me sometimes about you didn't really know where it was going, sports casting. You figured as a teenager it might develop into being your livelihood. And I guess there were other things you could have done. You always said you could have been a stand-up comic. You always dreamed of doing a lot of being on the stage.
I want to be a soft shoot tap artist.
That's right, all those things. But as most people, after they've had the great career, they look back on it and say, yeah, I'd do it all over again.
Absolutely. I've been one of those lucky guys who's been in a job he loves, and that is what it's all about too. I started when I was 18. I'm 65 now. This is all I've ever done. All I've ever done. All I've ever wanted to do, really. And because of the challenge, because of the fascination, because of the creativity and the talent involved with the people in this business, and mostly the people themselves. I'm going to tell you something. Most of the people in our racket are absolute 10 strikers, and that goes for the people in sports as well.
The different directions that it's gone as far as what you've seen on the field, you've got a different breed of cat playing ball now than when you came. And also in the industry, you've seen so many strides taken. We're going to reflect on those two. Right now, this from Danley's. For the second game, because the answers to those questions from Jack Brickhouse will take place during the second game, because we have run flat out of time because they want to get this second game going. Ruthven and Krukow are already throwing. Jack, we won't say so long. We'll just say thanks a lot. We've got another game to go. We've got a week on the road together. But I know the fans wanted to hear some of these things from you, and I'm glad we had this opportunity.
Well, all I can say is thanks, Milo. And all right, Arnie, we're through now. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, he's in our ear.
Oh, what he's doing to us.
Stay tuned for the second game with Krukow and Ruthven. Wrigley Field, it's Major League Baseball as the Philadelphia Phillies meet our Chicago Cubs in Game 2 of this doubleheader. Second game coming up here, and we've got Mike Krukow, who's been pitching so well the last couple of weeks, and indeed we need him to be a stopper here. If we're going to send the Phillies out of town behind us, got to get a win in this second game today. It'll be Mike Krukow against Dick Ruthven. The wind has not died down. If anything, it's worse than ever, so we may have some more adventures in this second game. So while we get ready for the lineups, let's take a look at them now, and we will start it off with Smith, and he will be in center field. Rose at first base, batting second. Matthews in left, hitting third. Schmidt will bat cleanup and play third base. McBride in right, and he will bat fifth. Boone will do the catching and bat sixth. Boa is the shortstop, batting seventh. Trio plays second and bats eighth, and the pitcher is Dick Ruthven. So that'll be it for the Phillies. For the Cubs, Jerry Morales will be inserted in the leadoff spot and play center field. DeJesus is the shortstop, batting second. Bill Buckner, who contributed 3 hits in the first game, will be at first and bat third. Durham will be in right field, bat cleanup. The 5-hitter will be the left fielder, Henderson. Waller plays third and bats sixth. Blackwell will do the catching and bat seventh. Pat Tabler, second base, batting eighth, and on the mound, Mike Krukow. Those are the lineups, and we'll be back with the ball game right after this. Players are down there. They've received the lineup cards. They will make their normal rotation. Billy Williams will be behind the plate. Pryor at first base, McSherry at second, and Brocklander will call him at third. Both of the pitchers have completed their warm-up tosses. Mike Krukow is headed into the dugout, and he'll be ready to go here in just a moment. So we'll get set for our final home game of 1981. We have another doubleheader tomorrow to open the final road trip of the year. That'll be at Pittsburgh tomorrow evening. Have 3 in Pittsburgh. That'll take us through Tuesday night, Wednesday and Thursday in New York with the Mets. Then next weekend we wrap it up for another year against the Phillies at the Vet. But first things first, Mike Krukow needs to get us into the victory column here in order to stay ahead of the Phillies in the standings. And when we get underway in that twilighter tomorrow night, Arnie, when will we be getting underway? 5 o'clock Chicago time for the opening of the twilight doubleheader from Three Rivers tomorrow evening. Quickly, Minnesota, after spotting Green Bay 10 at the halftime, the Vikings lead the pack 20-10. The New York Jets late in the third quarter lead Houston 26-17. And the White Sox are getting underway. Baumgarten against Langford in the first of 2 at Oakland. The Cubs have taken the field. Mike Krukow is out there at the end of the third quarter. Philadelphia Eagles 14, Redskins 6. All right, let's take a look at him on the field. Steve Henderson in left field. Center fielder Jerry Morales for the second game. In right field, Leon Durham. Ty Waller's at third again. Shortstop, Ivan DeJesus. Pat Tabler will start this one at second. Bill Buckner, of course, at first base. Doing the pitching, Mike Krukow. And Timmy Blackwell, who's been catching Mike lately, is right back there today. Coaches, Ruben Amaro at first. Lee Elia at third. Paul Pryor will call him at first base. Second base umpire John McSherry. At third, it'll be Fred Brocklander. And calling the balls and strikes, the crew chief of this quartet of the men in blue, that'll be Billy Williams. Buffalo has gone in front of Cincinnati 20-10. That's early in the fourth. Pittsburgh Steelers 21, New England 14 early in the fourth, so that's still a game. Oakland trailing Detroit 3-0 at the end of the third quarter. How about Oakland being shut out so far? And Cleveland at the end of the third quarter has the Atlanta Falcons down 28-10. But Cleveland can ask Green Bay, that game is not over. So here is Smith, the center fielder. Krukow's first pitch, a curveball, missing, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Smith will be followed by Rose. Then it'll be Matthews. 2 balls, no strikes. Phillies won the opener with Carlton 5-2. McBride's 3-run homer, the big one. Cincinnati with Seaver out in front of Atlanta and Perry. 4-1. They have played 4.5 innings in Atlanta. Falls behind the leadoff batter and a potential base stealer, Smith. 3 balls, no strikes. Pittsburgh and St. Louis have played an inning and a half, no score. Bullseye, 3-1. They've still got a rain delay at Montreal. That's got to be over an hour by now. A shot off the body of Tabler, but a good quick release, and he got him. That's the way to stay with it. That ball was hit hard, but Tabler, the rookie second baseman, stayed right with it. Now this ball is hit hard. Going to come up on him off of his body, keeps it in front. Now watch this quick release with a fast man running, and he got him. Here it is if you're looking from the bleachers. It's 1 away. That'll bring up Rose. Had a couple of hits in the first game. Looks at strike 1. He's up to 328. Only Madlock of the Pirates is ahead of him. 3 for 8 in the series. Boy, the wind, I want to tell you, if those flags at Wrigley Field today, maybe it's a good thing it's the last day of the year. They are really getting a workout. Wind between 20 and 35 miles an hour here today most of the time. 2 balls and 1 strike to Rose. Matthews due up next. Bouncer, second baseman to his right. Good play by Tabler again. A little tricky short hop, but the kid stayed with it. He has had 2 plays that have not been easy to open this game. See, it came up on him again. But hit sharply, and he knew he could take time and make the good accurate throw. Here is Matthews, 292, 9 homers, 64 ribbies. And in this series, 3 for 7, 5 RBIs. All that damage was yesterday. Good curveball with something off. Nobody on, 2 down. Krukow working in the first of the second game of a Sunday doubleheader at Wrigley Field. Fan Appreciation Day. A lot of gifts have been given out. There'll be many more. Fouled off, but no more appreciation was shown on this day than that by the fans when they saluted Jack Brickhouse between games when he waved at them from the booth. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Missed with his breaking ball, 2-2. Cleveland 7, Boston 2. That's baseball. This is the time of the year when you have to specify. 2-2. Almost went for it. Krukow thought maybe, but he didn't get the call. It's a full count. Matthews batting. Schmidt would be next. Payoff. Fouled it off. Upper deck souvenir. Trouble in Oakland already. There's a high bouncer. Shortstop. No, it'll jump up over him. Threaded the needle out over second, and Matthews gets his 4th hit of the series. Talking about trouble, Hoyt has replaced Baumgarten already, and they just got underway. Early in the 4th quarter, the New York Jets 33, Houston 17. Boy, if Houston loses that game, they'll think long and hard about it down the line. Here is Schmidt. Schmidt batting with a runner on and 2 away. Opens up with a curveball. 1-0. Schmidt hitting .311 now. High fastball. Cincinnati tightens it up on Buffalo. Early in the 4th quarter, Bills 21, Bengals 17. Atlanta gets on the board at Cleveland early in the fourth quarter. Browns 28, Falcons 17. We're early in the second game here, first inning. Off speed, and he caught him looking. 2 balls and 1 strike. Smith and Rose bounced out to Tabler. Then Matthews got a high leaper out over the mound, out over second, on into center for a base hit. Now you've got a 2-1 count on Schmidt. Bake McBride due up next. Not close at first. Runner wasn't that far away. 2 balls and a strike. Still working on that base runner. Schmidt hit a home run here yesterday that almost went in on our center field camera booth. Into the dirt. Blackwell stops it, and it's 3-1 to Schmidt. Fellow who hit the 3-run homer in the first game, McBride, is due up next. 3-1. Matthews is a threat. He's stolen 14 out of 16 attempted. So a good reason for Krukow to be watching him. Three balls, 1 strike. For the moment, with their victory, the Phillies have gone by the Cubs in the Eastern Division. Cubs need a win to get them out of town behind us. The 3-1. Walked him. So after 2 outs, they've put 2 on. Single Matthews walked to Schmidt and brings up McBride. .291 average, 2 homers, got the second one in the first game today, has 20 runs batted in. 2 for 4, 3 ribbies in the series. That was all in the first game. He did not play in the Friday game. So there are your runners. Matthews second, Schmidt at first, both with good speed. Schmidt, for a big guy, runs very well. Ball 1 as Krukow works to Bake McBride. Boone, the catcher, on deck. A little flip from DeJesus to Tabler, and Krukow is out of a jam. Played a half an inning in the second game. The Phillies are scoreless with 1 hit, and our Cubs are now coming in. All right, we go to the bottom of the first. Ruthven out of the mound. This is the first time he's faced the Cubs this year. We'll go to his defense. Matthews, Gary Matthews in left. Lonnie Smith in center again. Right fielder Bake McBride. Go to the infield, and at third you'll find Mike Schmidt. Shortstop Larry Boa. Manny Trio at second. Pete Rose at first, their regular infield. Pitcher number 44, Dick Ruthven. He'll challenge you, hard stuff. And Bob Boone making his first appearance of the series. Gene Klein's coaching at first, and Cookie Rojas at third. Jerry Morales was a pinch hitter in the first game. It's his only appearance in the series. He'll be followed by DeJesus and Buckner. Jerry hitting .281, 1 homer. Opens up with a breaking pitch, misses with it. 1 ball and no strikes. St. Louis Cardinals 1, Pirates nothing. They've played 2. Ruthven after his 12th win today. High bouncer. Schmidt got a charge. Didn't come up for him. Bounces under his glove. Morales is on. And it'll bring up shortstop Ivan DeJesus. Base hit for Morales to start the bottom of the first. Here it is again. Now Schmidt realizes Morales doesn't run that badly. He knows he's got to charge and hope for a lucky bounce. He didn't get it. Another field goal by Detroit. They lead Oakland 6-0 late in the fourth quarter at Detroit. Pitch out. Morales not going anywhere. Oh, this wind is blowing a gale. Trying to blow the ivy off the center field wall here. 1 ball, no strikes. Foul back by the Cubs shortstop. That'll even it at 1-1. Remember, tomorrow night the Bears are home with the Los Angeles Rams. Monday Night Football will be on the road at Pittsburgh for a doubleheader that starts at 5 Chicago time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball center. Smith will come in. Park under. Whoa! He had a little trouble with it. Boy, the first inning of the first game today, it was really trouble out there. Everybody having trouble getting used to it at that time. And here is Bill Buckner. Had 3 hits in the first game, including his 8th home run of the year. 3 of those 8 have been against Philly pitching. Got his average up to 314. Boy, what a series. 6 for 8. A couple of days ago, he was threatening to get down close to 300. Now with that 6 for 8, he's back up there to where you expect him to be, and got a chance to move into the top 5 when it's all over today. A strike. He wore out that outside corner on that one, and it's 0-1. Tom Seaver has Gaylord Perry down 4-1 after 5 in Atlanta. Going to be interesting to see what happens over the winter with Gaylord. If he falls 3 or 4 short, you think he'd like to have that strike back? I don't mean the one they just called. I mean the one that they went on. Ruthven out in front of Buckner with 2 strikes. Morales on with an infield hit. There's 1 away. We're in the bottom of the first. In the top of the first, Matthews singled and Schmidt walked, but Krukow got McBride to hit into a force play. And the Phillies won the opener 5-2 with Carlton. Rose holding against Morales. 0-2 to Billy Buck. Sends a high pop foul out of play over here to the left side. Now in the next hour, not only will the wind be a factor in this park, but in right and right center and on the right side of the infield, the sun will come into play also, especially in the outfield on low line drives. No balls, 2 strikes. Buckner making Ruthven wait just a bit. High fastball, and he struck him out. Bill not happy. He knows he went after a bad pitch. He just let the bat go and let the bat boy go get it. That'll bring up Durham, the right fielder. Durham is not unhappy at all about seeing a right-hander out there. Carlton gave him fits in the first game. High pop, left side. Somebody's going to have to make a quick move, and Schmidt did. Boy, has he got reactions. He is something. He not only can hit a ball out of sight, he can play that third base too. So as you watch him make the play again, no runs and 1 hit, no errors. Morales left. We played an inning in the second game, and
that's a very famous name in the boxing world right now. Bob's here to promote the Weaver-Tillis fight and the Hagler-Hamshaw middleweight championship fight, October 3rd at the Horizon. Welcome to Chicago,
Thanks,
Bob.
Jack.
And
congratulations on such a great career here.
Thank you so much, Bob. This is a fantastic period to be in the fighting game, isn't it?
Yes, it is. There's so many great young fighters coming up. You have a heavyweight championship with Weaver, the slugger, against Tillis, who's just really fought in Chicago, a classic boxer, with Angelo Dundee in his corner.
Yeah.
And that's why I think he may very well win the fight.
Well, Angelo thinks he will, too. Otherwise, he wouldn't be around. But, Bob, the fight game appears to be pretty healthy right now. And then, of course, with the cable and pay TV and so forth and so on, it could go right through the roof.
Well, for example, our company does 7 shows a month for cable television, plus the shows for the network, plus the great big promotions like the one on Saturday, October 3rd.
Hope you sell out, kid.
Thanks, Jack.
Welcome to Chicago.
Thank
Bob
you.
Arum. Milo?
All right, thank you, Jack. Bob Boone with a 2-2 count as he leads off in the second. First time we've looked at him in this series. Fouled it off, and it remains 2-2. Boone will be followed by Boa and then Trio. Back-to-back doubleheaders, closing out the home season with 1 Opening up the final road trip with one tomorrow at Three Rivers with Chuck Tanner's Pirates.
I appreciate your...
The 2-2.
Anyway.
High pop. Shortstop to Jesus. That's going to give him fits. He flipped the glasses, thought he was in control, but a wind. I'm going to tell you something. That wind right now might be blowing as hard as it has all day. Even the good quick reactions of a De Jesus can't fight that. This is the way it looks from behind. See how he's fighting that thing? Goes as a wind-blown single. Can't penalize anybody for playing in that gale. Third quarter, Vikings lead the Packers 27-10. This is Boa, has not had a hit in the series. High fastball from Krukow. Joining us in the booth is an old friend. I can say that in every sense of the word, and he's been a great friend of Jack Brickhouse over the years. We've had him on the air. I don't think I've missed a year having him on the air in the last 20 years that I can think of at one time or another. Steve Bailey from Gene Autry's Golden West crew out in Los Angeles. He was a broadcaster for the Dodgers when they first went to L.A., then did the Angel games. He's produced the Angels, the Rams, and UCLA. They had the runner going. Boa fouled it back. Steve, being in the industry for these years, and I know it's over 30.
Yes, it is, Milo.
At KMPC, in fact.
That's correct.
I know when I was a boy, I used to enjoy his work.
Who's the runner back? Steve, just give us a little reflection of a guy from not right in here, but the thoughts from around the country that can be reflected by you, knowing Jack of his work and as a person. There's a little soft line drive to short. Boa's out. A little sarcasm in the applause there. Because De Jesus had trouble with a couple of ground balls in the first game, so the crowd was glad to see it get in his glove and stay there. Steve?
Milo, I'm just delighted that I can be here on this special moment for Jack Brickhouse, and I'm proud to say that I've known this great gentleman for at least half of the 40 years he's been in the business here in Chicago. He is tremendously respected on the West Coast. You know, you have so many transplants out there from Chicago, and they frequently ask me about Jack Brickhouse when I come back to the Midwest and when he comes out there. And Jack, I wish you nothing but continued success, whatever your endeavor, and from your many fans in Southern California, and particularly from Gene Autry, my boss, and all of my crew, Don Drysdale and Bob Starr. Congratulations, and we love you.
Thank you so much. Steve and I, of course, have worked a lot of shows together. We go back to the Bob Kelly days when he was with Bob, and Bob was the Rams broadcaster, right, and I was working the Bears. And well, let's just put it this way: we have spent a lot of time spinning a lot of yarns and building a few memories together.
On and off the field.
Yes, sir.
This is Manny Trio. Runner at first, one out. Boone got a base hit to start it. Boa lined out to short. There's a good breaking pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. I'll get to that Ram-Bear date for tomorrow night, but I can't let this opportunity go by without asking Steve about the Iowa-UCLA game. He produced it yesterday. Did Iowa play that well?
I'm telling you, Milo, Iowa, you'd think that they had memorized the UCLA playbook. No matter what the Bruins did, the Hawkeyes were right there with 2 guys on the ball carrier or the pass receiver. It was an incredible demonstration of how a team can really get up and overpower another club. But in all fairness, UCLA had 3 straight road games, and it's so difficult to play that 3rd game on the road and get the kids up, especially when they had 2 easy wins against Arizona and Wisconsin, and then they were a 10-point favorite yesterday against Iowa. It had all the makings of a great upset, and it was.
But you're absolutely right. Even the greatest pros in the world can't get up for 3 in a row on the road.
Oh, it's very
that's rough. That's tough scheduling.
And then you got 60,000 screaming fans there at Iowa, and as soon as Iowa scores that first touchdown, they know they got a chance to win, so forget it, you know.
Yeah. Steve, what about the Rams-Bears now? The Rams have had a kind of a mixed press out there, haven't they?
You're putting it very kindly.
Boy, when we were out there the last road trip, it wasn't much of a mixture. Man, they were, whew.
Well, you see, a lot of the glamour's gone from the Rams moving from the Los Angeles downtown Hollywood area out to Orange County. And a lot of people don't like the fact that they made the move, and they criticize them on everything they do. And the fact that they're off to a slow start this year and having their problems, it's been a field day for the press.
They get bumped here tomorrow night. Is Malavasi in trouble?
I think he is.
Does my old pal Bud Carson got a chance?
I hope so. I think he's tremendous, and he'd be a great head coach.
Well, I tell you, they keep talking about the last 5 years that the next head coach in that league would be Bud Carson. I'm not wishing Malavasi any trouble, but if it comes to that, I'd like to see him go right within their ranks and give Carson a shot at it.
They couldn't pick a better man in my book.
Steve, let's talk about the California Angels for a moment now. I thought you guys were going to walk away with it this year. I really did. I took a look at that roster, and of course I spent a lot of time in Palm Springs while you're out there, and I went to several of your games and practices, and I thought, well, I just don't see how the Angels can be anything but a lot better this year.
They've been one of the great disappointments of all time. I can't understand. No one can understand why this club can't do better than it does with all those proven ball players, but it was one of those incredible years where, of course, Fred Lynn was hurt all year, but, you know, here you get a $1 million ball player, and he comes to you and he can't play. And their pitching, while it was average, or the hitting was what fell apart. They couldn't score any runs.
Strike 3 called. 2 strikeouts in a row. Krukow takes care of his mound opponent. And so after the leadoff single, Krukow bears down and takes care of it. No runs and a hit. No errors, 1 left. We have played an inning and a half in game 2 of this Sunday doubleheader at Wrigley Field. So far, nobody has. He had to know when he came to the park with that on iron, he'd find him. What do you got in football, Jack?
Well, they just sacked Theismann in the end zone. So now it's the Philadelphia Eagles 26, Washington 13 in the middle of the 4th quarter. It's Cincinnati 24, Buffalo 21 late in the 4th quarter on a 16-yard pass from Anderson to Kreider.
Cincinnati scored 14 unanswered points late in the quarter.
Now, in the middle of the 3rd quarter, it is Miami 21, Baltimore 14 on a 20-yard pass from Woodley to Guaquinto.
Well, the Detroit Lions are leading Oakland 16-0, and there can't be a lot of time left. 16-0 Lions over Oakland late in the 4th quarter. Steve Henderson, the batter. 1 ball and no strikes from Ruthven. Waller will be next, then Blackwell. Steve Bailey's still with us, and I'd like to get into, evidently Mr. Bavasi made some statements when the White Sox were out there the other day about halt, no more big checks, no more big paychecks.
Well, he's talking about divorcing himself totally from the free entry market and spending that money instead on the farm system. So,
because you guys are getting stung maybe more than anybody.
Oh, without a doubt. We've had so many first-round draft choices over the years and have made bad selections, and it's too bad because look what the Dodgers do with all the winning they do and their lower draft choices. They've got a team in Albuquerque that finished first in our division.
And even the royalties from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that Mr. Autry's been cashing for 35 years won't keep paying those salaries.
That's true, but boy, there's no greater fan than him, and he's done everything possible to try to right the ship.
Base hit through the right side for Henderson. Second hit off Ruthven. Steve takes a big turn.
Fellas, let me take a moment here while we have it to acknowledge also the final appearance at this ballpark of one of the most respected writers we've ever had, one of the most pleasant men to work with I've ever known, Dick Dozier of the Chicago Tribune, who after 34 years is going to move away from that job and take retirement, move out to Arizona, and wherever Dick goes and Flo, we just wish them the happiest of anything.
Well, Steve, you'll be seeing him next spring training then.
Yeah, I know, Richard. He's a nice man, and I wish him well.
Here is Waller. Had a home run in the first game. He's had 3 on this homestand.
You know, Dozier's the only man I know who hits a slice and gets overspin on it.
Rose stayed right with that pop-up, and boy, when you stay with one here today, You kept your eye on the ball. So Waller out on a pop-up to Rose. It'll bring up Timmy Blackwell. Blackwell hitting .220, 1 homer, 10 runs batted in. It'll be his first at-bat in the series. Steve, you've been through so many campaigns. It doesn't, I know with you doing football already, I guess you feel it's that time of year. But that strike just left such a void. It doesn't seem like it ought to be over, does it?
No, it really doesn't. And that's something that affected our ball club, too. I know it affected other teams, but just as the strike started, the Angels had really turned things around. They'd won 9 out of 11 games, and they'd come together. And then after the strike, they could never get it back. And they went into a tailspin. They lost 14 out of 15, and I think the strike really hurt our ball club.
All right, you old reporter, give that final, will you?
All right. That's a tough place to play, the Silver Dome in Detroit, and the Lions shut out the Super Bowl champion Oakland Raiders 16-0.
Oh, boy, the Silver Fox, the Silver Throat. A pace hit through the right side with the hit and run on. And Henderson will get around to third easily. They had something on. Timmy Blackwell spanked it right through the vacated spot. That's what moving that runner will do for you. Now you got runners on the corners, only one out, and Tabler will be the batter.
And half as many hits already as we got in the first game off Carlton.
Middle of the third. Baltimore just tied Miami. There's been 3 touchdowns scored in the last 2 minutes in that game. Baltimore and Miami 21 all, middle of the third. What do you got, Steve?
Minnesota leads Green Bay 27-13. The Pack had taken a 10-0 lead in that game.
Yes. Huh.
All right, here's Tabler with a chance to get us on the board against Ruthven and the Phillies. Took something off his curveball. 1 ball, no strikes.
Boy, this is fun. Do you guys get paid for this?
I refuse to answer that.
Once in a while. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, I tell him, Jack, I've got the world's greatest job. I get paid to go to ball games and parties, and you can't beat that combination. And I appreciated what you said about you. You've loved your work all these years, and it's been such a joy to be a part of this great industry.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what Tabler can do. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Fouls it off, makes it 1-2.
Sure. We can prove one thing, Steve. It's a good way to make a living without working, huh?
Oh, without a doubt.
Hey, Jack, give Steve that line about when the guy asked you if you really enjoyed it or was it work. You said you tried working one time.
That was the worst morning I ever spent.
He quit at noon. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fouled off. Look out. Man, is that in the seats in a hurry. Hope everybody ducked. Henderson's at third. Blackwell's at first. A fly ball with any depth could get you a run.
Out our way, we're not proud of that, are very fond of that mad Mexican either. You know, that guy Manuel Labor?
Well, you got one right up the street from you. Valenzuela.
Oh, he's marvelous.
Oh. They asked for an appeal on that. First base umpire Pryor said no, he didn't, so it's 2-2. Ruthven, he got a chaw as big as he is. 2-2. Still got the rain delay at Montreal. They only got to play 2 innings so far there. Mets leading 1-0. They had that lead over Rogers, by the way. Fly ball, right center, and it's going to be his first big league home run. Well, that's the one we've been waiting for him to get, Jack.
Right.
He's flirted with it a few times.
He got his triple the other day. Now he's got his home run. He knows he can hit big league pitching.
Well, he got 17 home runs at AAA this year. You knew if he was doing that at that level, he's going to hit one here someday. And he has done it. Into right field. 3rd hit of the inning. 4th hit off Ruthven. And they got him in a cluster. And look at that greeting for that youngster. You never know about deals, Steve. Everybody here, and with a favorite like Russell, Everybody hated to see him go. He was a great favorite here and a fine pitcher. But we now have two pitchers, Bird and Griffin, and a second baseman who plays every day. Line to Schmidt. Boy, another reaction by him. Krukow can't hit the ball any harder than that. So you can't judge trades the day they're made. Look at this play again. As high as he could go. Take a look at the home run. A breaking pitch going away. He went with it. He sent it to right. So Pat Tabler and his folks are watching on the cable down in Florida today. They got a kick out of that too. Two balls and no strikes. Final, Cleveland upset Atlanta 28-17. There'll be those in Cleveland who say that's not an upset, but I got to say that the way Atlanta's been playing, that is an upset. Fly ball right, McBride there. He'll make the play, and the side has been retired, but not until the Cubs had gotten on the board on a 3-run blast by rookie second baseman Pat Tabler. 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors, nobody left. Tabler cleaned them off. That looks better. Cubs 3. Getting ready to go to the 3rd, and Jack, you've gotten a phone call that I know you treasure.
Yes, we have been getting quite a number of phone calls and messages and wires, and as I said earlier, I wish I could acknowledge all of them, but here's one that I certainly want to include because it's from Ernie Carroll. Now, Ernie, of course, is one of the most, well, there's a little error out there, I guess, maybe for Yvonne again, huh? No,
that might be it. It should be a hit. That was not an easy play. He'd gone a long way. That is a hit.
Ernie Carroll, of course, for half a century or better, was the custodian of the Bard's room at Comiskey Park. He was a great friend and still is of all of us. And Ernie is laid up a little bit right now, but let's hope he's back in action real soon. In the meantime, we certainly want to thank him for the very, very kind words that he sent in here today.
All right, here is Rose. He bounced out in the first inning. That's a strike. The New England Patriots just caught the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21 late in the 4th quarter. Buffalo, field goal by Mickemeyer, tied Cincinnati 24-all late in the 4th quarter. The Eagles are running away from the Skins 36-13 with just probably seconds remaining now. All those Eastern time zone games. Pete Rose with a strike 1 count. Smith at first base. He's a threat to go. Let's see if they put something on. Fake to break, didn't go. Good block of it by Blackwell because he kept it out in front. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rose batting with a runner on. Matthews will be next, and then Schmidt. 3-run homer by Tabler has Krukow in front. Last 2 weeks, Krukow's been our steadiest pitcher. He's pitched some fine games. So with a little something to work with here now, see if he can hang on, get us a split. Runner going, Blackwell's throw, got him. I'm not altogether sure, but I think there might have been a little mix-up on who was going to cover that time. It looked like DeJesus came over late. He's going to have to run to the ball, but he got there in time. So it worked out all right. But boy, when Blackwell let the ball fly, there was nobody near. DeJesus will put it right down there on him, let him slide right in and tag himself out. He tried to get in the back door, but there wasn't any room. In our ball game here, it's 3-0 Cubs. And they're going into overtime in that Three Rivers game.
Yep. Pittsburgh and New England wound up tied 21-21 at the end of regulation time. Middle of the first period, Dallas 3, the Giants nothing.
All right, now Krukow can go back to the full wind. He's got a payoff pitch due on Pete Rose. Line foul down past our bullpen. Cincinnati with Seaver 4, Atlanta 2. They've played 7 innings. St. Louis just hit the Pirates with 4. Fouled off. So at the end of 4 innings, Cardinals, who are trying to hang on for dear life, are leading the Pirates 5-0.
Steve, the word's around on the West Coast that the reason the Dodgers are increasing their television coverage next year is because of the fact that so many of games like ours and Ted Turner's are going Atlanta are going into the West Coast on cable. Is that also likely to affect the Angels?
I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do. There's been some talk of increasing the number of games they put on the cable system. They have a contract with On Television, which is not actually cable. It's over the air with a scrambler. But as of right now, they're going to take a hard look at it during the winter and see what happens. But right now, I can't give you any new information on that, Jack.
All right, after the base hit by Rose, Matthews is the batter.
Tampa Bay 3, St. Louis Cardinals nothing. They're in the middle of the first period.
Double play. So it's no runs, 2 hits, no errors, a caught stealing, and a double play. Goes 6:43 with the Jesus to Tabler. Boy, Tabler gets rid of that ball. All right, before we go into the third, Jack's going to come back on here now, but I just want to thank Steve Bailey for dropping by. He's in town for the Bear game, and I know that, as he stated, he was glad he could make it out today and be a part of Jack's day here. So thank you, Steve.
Well, it's an honor, Milo, and
Listen,
Jack, continued good luck.
We have to avoid Bailey tonight. I'll give you a little tip, Milo. We're on a plane to Pittsburgh for a doubleheader tomorrow. We better get our sleep.
That's right.
And with Bailey in town, I'm not so sure that's a guarantee.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Steve.
Jesus stepping in there now. Well, Murphy did it again. His 12th of the year. So it's Cincinnati 4, Atlanta 2 now at the end of 7 at Atlanta. Ball 2, strike 1 here. Score of this ball game, 3-0 Cubs. Cubs at bat in their half of number 3. DeJesus, Buckner, and Durham. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up. High fly, left field. Matthews should have a play. If Boa doesn't, and it is caught by Matthews, and what a tumbling, diving circus catch that was. Boy, that was right out of the Flying Caprinis, wasn't it? Don't forget, here's the guy who robbed Kingman of a home run in Atlanta and one of the truly great catches of all time. But here it is. That wind plays tricks with it, takes it away from him. Boa gets out of the way, and look at Gary Matthews handle this one. Oh, man. Let him go. Let him go ahead and tumble. Watch the whole act here. Well, I saw Kingman do this, and he was laid up for a month and a half, remember? All right. DeJesus is out, but he won't believe it. There's a pretty well-hit ball. Deep to right. Back again. Hey! Another home run for Billy Buck. Oh, brother. Billy Buckner just hit one to the opposite field. As we pointed out earlier, a ball hit the left field. It's a crosswind. But out to right or right center, and that's a helping wind out there, and that 20-mile-an-hour wind did the job again, and the Chicago Cubs have another run as Bill Buckner wallops his second home run and his 9th of the year. And the score of this ball game now is the Cubs 4, Philadelphia nothing, and the batter is Durham. There she is, just above the basket on the rim, bounce back onto the field, and the Chicago Cubs are bidding hard now for a split for the day. All right, here's Leon.
End of the third quarter, Baltimore and Miami tied at 21.
That's a little low. Ball 2, 2-0. Durham, hitless in 6 in this series, way overdue for one. Of course, the Cubs are way overdue to beat the Phillies, too. They're 0-8 against them now. That's enough of that nonsense.
Kansas City jumps in front of Seattle 7-0. They've just barely gotten underway.
Strike 2-2.
Oakland A's 5, White Sox 3 after 2.5. They're playing a doubleheader today also.
Ball 2, strike 2. Fly ball left field. The wind may play tricks with this one. It is caught out there by Matthews, and that was no easy catch at all. So there's some wild things going on here. Mr. Matthews is having one of those days where he's going to walk right up to the pay window and look in the eye and say, give me my money. I didn't cheat anybody today. I really worked.
Well, he did it with his bat against us Friday, and he's made some fine plays here today.
Steve Henderson up.
Denver trying to slow down San Diego. Middle of the first quarter. Denver 7, San Diego nothing. Late in the third quarter, Minnesota really rocking the Packers. It's 30-13. Final, Eagles beat the Skins 36-13.
That is a little inside. Ball 2, 2-0. Ball 2, no strikes. Jack Brickhouse along with Milo Hamilton. Lou Bodreau will be along later, and Steve Bailey sitting in. There's a base hit. Slams that one past Schmidt. And that'll be an extra base hit now for Henderson. He's got 2 for sure. Steve Henderson driving one past Schmidt right between Mike and the bag. And that is the 5th 2-base hit this year for Steve Henderson. Brings up Ty Waller. Plate umpire Billy Williams, chief of the crew. Pryor, McSherry, and Brocklander at first, second, and third. Steve, the stadium where the Angels play their baseball games is one of the most terrific in the country, isn't it, that Anaheim Stadium?
Yes, it is, Jack. It's a beautiful stadium, and we're very proud of it.
Does it accommodate baseball and football equally well?
Oh, I think so. They had to make a lot of alterations to turn it into a football stadium, and it took away a few choice seats, but it's still a magnificent structure.
Ground ball, base hit. That could bring in another one. Cookie says, keep coming, pal. Here's the throw in. There'll be a play at second. It's a put out at second. But the run scores because it came across the plate before Ty Waller was gunned down at second base. Let's look at this one again. Here's the base hit by Waller. All right, Steve Henderson will score. Waved in by Cookie. Now here's Matthews. He throws this ball to Schmidt. Here's the play at second to Manny Trio, and that takes care of that. But the Cubs come up with 2 on 3 hits, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 3, Chicago Cubs out in front now by a score of 5-0. Now Cookie wait a minute, don't tell me that they're not going to give him the run. And Joey and Cookie and John McSherry are in a rather animated discussion right now. McSherry is the second base umpire. Here it is again. Now the run scores. There's the run scoring. Now the throw to second. Well, they're probably claiming he missed the tag. No, now he's changing it to safe. He started to call him out, then he changed it to safe. Now he must have reversed himself because the Cubs are hollering. Nope. Waller is still sitting on second base. Now what?
And the Phillies, who had left the field, have gone back onto the field.
Yep. Yep. Okay. The Cubs have won that argument. So give him second on the throw-in. Ty Waller is on second base. And now here comes Dallas Green. He'll have a few words to say. That play at second is quite a call. Now McSherry, I have to say this for John, he certainly is in position to see this play. Now here's your play again. As Matthews fires in. And here's the run scoring from second. Now the throw to second. And Manny Trio trying to put the tag on Waller. And he juggled that ball. That's what that's all about. John McSherry called him out and then changed his mind. And here's a high pop fly out back at third base. Larry Boa takes it as Blackwell pops up, and that retires the side. So the whole thing was much ado about nothing, as it turned out. But in the meantime, the Cubs come up with 2 runs on 3 hits. Philadelphia fourth now. Schmidt, McBride, and Boone due up. So Mike Krukow, trying to square up for the year, has himself a 5-run cushion. That's strike 1. I'm not so sure we better get Mike any more runs, Milo, because you know how he is. If you get him too big a cushion, he starts to ease up a little bit. By his own admission, he says, he says, something wrong with me, I guess. If I get too big a cushion, I start to ease up too much. 0-2. Getting 5 should be his limit, maybe, huh? I know we get him 2 or 3, and he does real well. We got him a 5-run lead once before, and he blew it.
I'm going to tell you something. With the way this wind is blowing today, I'm not going to put that ceiling on him today. I'm not sure you can get
right.
too many today.
You're right. Maybe we better make it 8. Fly ball, center field. Look out for this one. There's Mr. Schmidt with his daily home run. Nope. By golly, we got him this time. That's blowing him down, Mike, old boy. Mike Schmidt, who has himself 33 career home runs against the Chicago Cubs, just now tried very hard to make it 34, and I thought for a minute he had it. 1 away. That brings up Bake McBride. Well, Bake got one in the first game. And there's a strike, strike 1. High outside, 1-1. The White Sox follow us. Old Harry and crew are out there on the West Coast. Harry and Lou and Rich and Joe are all out there on the West Coast. By the way, I want to say thanks for the kind words, the very kind words that Harry spoke about yours truly last night, Harry and I. We may approach the broadcasting of baseball a little differently, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm talking about one of my very best friends in this business when I talk about Harry Carey. 2-2. Ball 3, strike 2 now to McBride. Henderson, Morales, Durham, and left, center, and right. Waller to Jesus, Tabler, Buckner, the infield third to first, the battery, Krukow, and Blackwell. High fly, center field. Morales camping under this one. All right. Boy, I'll tell you, on a day like this with that wind, Jerry making one-handed catches can do things to my blood pressure.
Jack, when you were on the 10th inning with me between games, you talked about the different people who'd been in charge while you were here, and the last name you mentioned was Jim Dottle, and Jim has come into the booth now. You expressed the opinion that we've been fortunate to work over the years, especially in your situation, for some sports-minded, enthusiastic sports-minded heads of our company, and you thought you looked at a man who fit into that mold.
Oh, boy.
I think Jim does. He's out here a lot. Jim, what about this big guy here?
Well, I just want to, on behalf of all of us at Tribune Broadcasting and WGN, Jack, thank you for all the wonderful years that you have serviced to WGN and to all the viewers in the Chicago area.
That'll be out to Henderson.
Jack, you have just made baseball a great part of WGN and have been a very great contributing factor to making GN the station it has been over the years.
I got to be the referee and step in. They'll be back to continue this. Right now, it's still 5-0.
What were you saying, Jim?
Yeah, it's your turn again.
Okay. Well, Jack, you know, through the years, I remember you. I go back so far as when you were doing the White Sox games, too.
Oh, yes.
And you've been such a tradition here in Chicago. And you will be, as you and I have discussed, around for many years within the organization and doing many things. I think if people were to take a vote of who would rank as some of the top people in Chicago, or Mr. Chicago, Jack Brickhouse would be very high on the list. And Jack might be the last couple of games at the mic with WGN, but you're still going to be part of the family, and we'd never let a Jack Brickhouse walk out the door.
Thank you very much, Jim. That's the kind of stuff that I guarantee you, Milo, really touches home with a fella. I really mean that. I'm very serious, because, you know, not that when a fella moves away that he's forgotten. Other companies, of course, are very, very nice about that, too, but there's a certain special meaning to what Jim has just said to me, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, I understand that if I play my cards right, I can get 4 aside from you out at Bobolink.
That'll be the day.
Yeah, he doesn't think that much of you.
Base hit, looks like, hey, that Tambler has found himself today. His home run is followed by a 2-base hit here, leading off the Cub half of number 4. That is his second double. And that'll bring up Mike Krukow, who will probably try to bunt him over to third. The Cubs out in front here by a 5-0 score. And Mike Krukow is about to step in.
End of 3 quarters, Green Bay getting smothered by the Vikings now, 30-13. Tampa Bay leads St. Louis 6-0 at the end of the first quarter.
This is my day for wires about golf games from the Irish. There's a wire here from an old sponsor of mine, John Corkery. He says, you get the tee time and I'll bring McGuire, now that you got some time. John Corkery, of course, I was with the sponsor that sponsored our football games for a long time there, and he and Mr. McGuire and I used to play a little golf together. We had a lot of fun. I was no fool. I either tried to get John or Walter McGuire for a partner.
Miami just broke a tie and went ahead of Baltimore 28-21. They're in the middle of the third quarter. And in overtime, Pittsburgh beat New England 27-21. New England roared back but couldn't hold on in overtime. Steelers beat them.
Oh, that was no bunt idea. Now with that step, he's looking out a cookie now, 1-2.
Well, after that line drive he hit to Schmidt in the second inning, Mike figures, what do you got me bunting for anyway? Proley throwing in their bullpen.
How about that? Base hit. Now the runner on second, Tabler, had to hold up to make sure McBride didn't pick that one off his shoe tops out there, and consequently is held to a 1-base advance. But the Cubs have runners on first and third now. Nobody out. The top of the batting order up. A beautiful chance to really pad the lead. Thank you so much, Jim.
Dallas Green's going to put the hook on Ruthven. It'll be Proley. So Ruthven, who was in search of his 12th win, is not going to get it today. Proley making his 33rd appearance, all but one out of the bullpen. 2 wins, 1 loss. ERA of 3.21. He has 2 saves. 55 2/3 innings. 6 gopher balls. Walked 17, struck out 18. We saw quite a bit of Proley early in the year. This is the first time we've seen him in this series.
He's going to have to be very effective now because the Cubs are really in a good spot. They have men on first and third and nobody out. The top of the batting order up, starting with Jerry Morales here.
Well, just as soon as Miami went in front, Baltimore came right back to tie it. 28-all early in the fourth quarter.
Fly ball deep to center, way back. Smith going way back. A running one-handed catch. And that one scores a run easily from third. Tabler could have crossed the plate on his hands and knees on that one, as Morales sent one 400 feet to center field. Matter of fact, Lonnie Smith, for a moment there, may have wondered if he really is going to be able to catch up with that one. Turned out to be a very nice catch. And Mike Krukow is on first base. Score the ball game now. The Cubs 6, the Phillies nothing. Here it is again from our center. That'll bring up the shortstop DeJesus. 1 on, 1 out. Ball won the count.
Denver is leading San Diego 21-0, and they haven't even played a quarter yet.
There's a base hit. DeJesus comes through. Advances. Krukow to second with a single. Now the first baseman Buckner is up. Here's Billy Buck, who's pounded 2 into the seats in this ball game, in this doubleheader. For the folks.
Cincinnati roared back and in overtime beat Buffalo 27-24.
That's interesting. That's a very interesting thing that Cincinnati win. Because it looked, you know, Buffalo, I think, figured to win that ball game.
End of the first quarter, New Orleans 7, San Francisco 49ers nothing.
There's a line shot, left center by Buckner. He's going to go after another double here, and it takes a bounce away from Lonnie Smith. And Buckner winds up on second. 2 more runs in for the Chicago Cubs, and they're turning it into a pretty one-sided ball game. Billy Buckner coming up with another 2-base hit. And Milo, if he hasn't got the lead in doubles, he certainly is trying for it. He has 2 today. And he's really battling that Jones from San Diego right now in that double department. And if all my statistics hadn't blown out of the booth on that last gust, I'd be able to look down and tell you just exactly how.
Joe Cornell will have it for us here in a flash.
All right. Joe's smart. He anchors his down. Durham is going to be intentionally walked. Even though he's 0 for 8 in the series, they recognize that he's still a very dangerous man.
Buckner, batting average-wise, in the last 2 days has gone from 305 to 317.
Wouldn't it be funny if he repeated this year?
Well, he'd have to have the greatest final week ever.
Well, Buckner now has 32. He's 1 behind Jones of San Diego. Rupert has 33. That puts men on first and second, brings up Steve Henderson, who has a single and a double.
Buckner with 68 runs batted in now. So he's broken out of a tie with Carter of Montreal, all alone for third in the league in runs batted in.
Well, he's crawling up to the leaders there, too, in that batting average department.
Well, the 3.817 would put him 4th in the league behind Baker, although we don't know what Griffey has done for Cincinnati today, and they're leading.
And, of course, Pete Rose started the day hitting .326.
He's at .328 right now.
And he has himself 3 hits today. Madlock, with his .338, still leads at Pittsburgh. In the dirt. Ball 2, no strikes.
Minnesota Twins beat the Texas Rangers 5-2. Redfern over Butcher. Corbett got his 16th save.
2-0 now. Henderson takes it again. Ball 3, no strikes.
That 3-run homer by Reggie Jackson early gave the Yankees all they needed. Righetti over Martinez as the Yankees beat Baltimore 5-2.
Buckner on second, Durham on first. Ball 3, strike 1, taking all the way. Cubs 8, Phillies nothing. 4th inning. Well, we got Krukow as 8 now, maybe more. That's a smash out back a second, and it's going to be safe all around as Manny Trio bats it down but can't make a clean grab.
I think that ball might have hit the bag.
It did. It hit something there at the mound, no question about that. Let's look at it again. Let's see if it hits the rosin bag. No, it hit his glove.
Watch it hit second base.
Oh, it hit second base. I thought you were talking about the bag at the mound when the ball hit something there. So that loads him. Buckner on third, Durham on second, Henderson on first. The batter, Ty Waller. Well, it's been quite a while since Ty hit a grand slammer in the major leagues.
I'll tell you something. If he hits a grand slam, he might tie the time it took his dad to sing the national anthem in San Diego as he rounds the bases.
He may just walk around and tip his cap, huh? Either that or he just go around like one of those hydrofoils where you'll be 2 feet off the ground. Riding the air cushion. Strike 1. Ooh. 1-1. Outfield playing him to pull it. Mike Crowley, the pitcher. Fly ball deep to left center. That's pretty well back. It is off the lines out there. The wind prevented a grand slammer. 2 runs are in. Here comes another one racing for the plate. And he scores. Henderson's across. Right behind Durham and Buckner. And the Cubs have 3 more runs as Ty Waller winds up on third base. A 3-base hit that should have been a home run. That's his first triple, by the way. And boy, what a day the Cubs are having here in their final home game of 1981. The Cubs are 0-8 against the world champion Phillies this season, but all that matters right now to these loyal fans is that the Cubs are 11-0 ahead in this ball game. All right, that brings up the catcher, Timmy Blackwell. The infield pulled in, of course. 1 out, Matt on third. 6 runs in the inning for the Cubs. Low, ball 1. Waller will never come closer to a home run without getting it. But that one just missed the basket out there. And without that crosswind that has held a couple of them in, that baby's a goner. But that's the invisible shield out there right now. 1-1. There's a ground ball through the pulled-in infield. Base hit. Here comes another one. And the Cubs have now batted around. And Pat Tableau, who started it all with a two-base hit, is now going to come to bat. Arnie just made an interesting comment on the cans, too. He said that Waller has now, in this 1 week, hit more shots, real shots out there to that left field area, than anyone since Ron Santo in some of those weeks Ron used to have.
Boy, when Ron used to get in the groove, he was something to watch, wasn't he?
He really was.
Warren Brewster has come on. Well, if you're going to have some fun, you might as well have it.
Well, they are frolicking on the greensward today.
Well, Mr. Crowley, who gave us trouble the first 2 times against us earlier this year, found out how the other half lived here today. Tom Seaver won his 14th game to go with only 2 losses. He beat Gaylord Perry. Lacoste saved it. As Cincinnati shut out they beat them 4-2 on only 5 hits. So Gaylord Perry's running out of calendar. He's not going to win 300 this year.
Brewster, the pitcher. So Pat Tabler has faced 2 different pitchers in this inning now, or will have. Mind if I borrow your pitching stats? They went flying out the window too, Milo. Right at this minute, they're battling a hot dog wrapper to see which one can get to the first base dugout sooner. Thank you. Brewster, 0-1 for the year. Earned an average of 5. Usually I memorize all these, but I've been busy today. Been in 9 ball games, 8 2/3 innings pitched, given up 9 hits, struck out 7, walked 7, no wild pitches or balks, and no home run pitches. $12 to nothing, Cubs. Ball 1. A little close. 2-0. Ball 2, no strikes. Ball 3, 3-0. Outfield straight away, fairly deep. That's in there, 3-1.
Middle of the 4th quarter, Miami trying to hang on against Baltimore. Dolphins lead 31-28.
Fly ball, center field. Ronnie Smith waits. That's 1 away. Make that 2 away. And Mike Krukow is up now. "14 hits for the Cubs, 4 for Philadelphia." Timmy Blackwell leading off first. There's a ground ball. Boa over to second to Trio for the force there on Blackwell. And that retires the side. 6 runs. On a total of, let's catch it here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. Make that 7 runs on 7 hits. No errors and a man left. At the end of 4, Cubs 12, Phillies 0. 5. Boa, trio, and no doubt a pinch hitter for Brewster. Well, I have a hunch, Lou, before this day is over, we're liable to show a few more new faces to the Cub fans as they wind up 81.
Now, isn't this very thoughtful of Ramal Patano and the Cubs giving you this kind of a send-off, a blast like this?
Well, I've often said if you must split a doubleheader, let's win the second one. Let's leave with a good taste in our mouths. Let's leave on the upbeat.
Especially at home.
Yep. But you know what?
What?
The history of this series has got a couple of instances of where a 12-run lead is no guarantee.
Oh, now, Jack, let's don't think about that.
Huh? It's 4 o'clock Central Daylight Savings Time.
If he blows
WGN
this
Chicago.
one, I'm going to get down there on the field with a bat. If Krukow blows this one.
WGN Television Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
After 2 hours of rain delay, they have started in Montreal.
Final, Miami 31, Baltimore 28. So the Dolphins came back to win it. Look what Denver is doing to San Diego. 28-0 in the middle of the second quarter. Wow. Ball 1 strike 2. Foul ball. Still 1-2 now. They had a rain delay of 2 hours and 30 minutes in Montreal. It's now reported here on the tape. Middle of the second period, San Francisco and New Orleans are tied 7-7. Krukow throws, fly ball, right field. That's way back there. The wind's got that one. However, it's caught out there by Durham. Boa giving it a long, long ride.
With that wind blowing out as it is today, even Boa is a threat.
Well, he has none this year, but like you say, that's no guarantee either with that wind. Manny Trio stepping in. Well, Lou, don't let Mr. Krukow start to wool gather now.
Oh, no, he won't. He'll be all right.
Base hit. As Trio lines one out to right field. Let's see who's going to bat now. Number 11. That's Virgil.
669.
Virgil's good. The third base coach in Montreal.
This is Ozzie Virgil. If that name sounds familiar, this is Ozzie Jr. because his dad is the third base coach for the Montreal Expos. Strike one. Must be an interesting situation where a father tries to maybe outsmart the son when Philadelphia plays Montreal, huh? Ball one, strike one.
He's built a lot larger than his dad. Dad had a lot of speed when he played. Anxious to see what this youngster can do.
Strike. Ball one, strike two. Pretty husky looking kid. He's a catcher. Strike three, call. That'll bring up Lonnie Smith.
Jack, the Pirates coming back a little in St. Louis. It's now St. Louis 6, Pittsburgh 3 at the end of 6.
Here's your 4 o'clock temperature. It's 67 degrees. The wind is out of the west at 23 miles an hour. And here's Greg Gross. With that for Smith. Cubs 12, Phillies nothing. Let's enjoy it, folks, while we can. 2 out. Phillies have a base runner, Trio. High onside, ball one. Well, the Giants are being a little stubborn in the second period. Dallas and the Giants are tied 3-3. Strike. 1-1. Well, Lemon got a homer again today for the White Sox in the 6th one on. That's his 7th of the year. Ground ball bouncing out to Tabler over to second for the easy force on Trio. And that retires the side. Field, we have Dernier. And Gross is now in right. Schmidt stays in the ball game at third. The new shortstop. That's Aguayo at shortstop now. Aguayo. At second base is Aviles. And over to first base is Del Unser. And the battery, well, the new pitcher there is who? Well, the new pitcher is Reed, but not Ron. It's Jay Reed. And the catcher is still Boone, and Jerry Morales swings on this pitch. On the ball, one pitch, and he's got himself 2 bases, it looks like. Yep, a double. Leading off the 5th inning for Jerry Morales as the Cubs come up with a real batting practice type performance. They really decided to take off after somebody in this second game, and here's DeJesus. That's the 6th double this year for Morales. 12-0 ball game. The Cubs out in front. What's the most one-sided game you ever played in, Lou? Do you recall?
Our favor, Cleveland's favor.
What was the score?
19-2 at Old League Park.
Leave it to Kansas City to try to upstage the Cubs. At the end of 8 innings, it's Kansas City 15, Seattle 3.
Oh, man.
And the Kansas City Chiefs are winning, too. They're beating Seattle's Seahawks in the middle of the second quarter by a score of 17-0. Ball 1, strike 2 now to DeJesus. Too low, 2-2. It's only the 5th inning. Two and 2 in the dirt. Toronto won California 0. They're in the 4th inning now at California. The White Sox 7, Oakland 5. The Sox spotted Oakland a 5-run first inning, and they've caught them and passed them now. Oakland at bat in the 6th. We'll join the White Sox after this game. Ground ball bouncing out to the first baseman. And it's Unser to the pitcher covering. And on the play, Morales takes third, and so now the score of the ball game, 12-0, and the Cubs have a beautiful chance for another run. Here's Buckner. Billy Buck, 2 homers and 2 doubles today. 1 of each in each game. What a day he's having, Lou.
Yes, indeed. And our fine, loyal fans are really sending him off on the road trip with standing ovations every time he reaches home plate.
Strike 1.
Buckner, who had 3 for 4 in the first game, 2 for 3 in this ball game, that batting average is getting close to 320.
Well, Minnesota walloped Green Bay 30-13. That's the final. Ground ball taken by the second baseman Aviles. Over to first. The runner on third holds. That'll bring up Durham. Green Bay jumped out to a 10-0 lead on Minnesota up there at Milwaukee. But before it was over, Minnesota's Vikings ground them under 30-13. That's a little low ball one. I haven't heard an attendance figure yet. Do they have one? Not yet, huh? Ball one. Ball two, 2-0. That's a strike. Ball 2, strike 1. Leon Durham intentionally walked the last time up. He's 0 for 8 in the series. Not now. That's a base hit. In comes a run as Durham decides to go for 2, and he'll make it easily. He's in there standing up. So a couple of doubles, one by Morales and one by Durham, have produced another run. That was the 11th double this year for Leon, and the score now is the Cubs 13, the Phillies nothing. Here's Henderson. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Burns is homered for the White Sox in the 6th with 1 on. That can't be.
Sir?
Can't be. His 6th of the year?
No, that's a
Can't be right.
It could be Bernazard.
Guy in the wire service deciding to economize on type, huh? That's a ball. Ball 2, no strikes. Ball 2, no strikes. Ball 3, 3-0. Well, the way it lines up, if you're keeping a scorecard, Gross bats first. He's playing in left field. Vukovic will bat second. Unser will bat third, playing first base. A walk now to Stevie. And that'll bring up Ty Waller. Dernier will bat fifth, playing center field. Aviles will bat seventh. He's at second base. And Aguayo will bat on the 8th spot. And he's playing shortstop. Ball 1, strike 2. Ty Waller, who almost put one out of here with the bases full, wound up with a triple the last time up, having one of his greatest days. He has a single and a triple in this ball game, had a home run in the first game, and he's going along just fine, thank you.
Yes, indeed.
2-2, 2 on, 2 out. Low. Ball 3, strike 2. At the end of 8, Detroit 2, Milwaukee 1. Cleveland and Boston at the end of 10, tied up 7-7. Strike, got him. In the inning for the Cubs, a run on 2 doubles. No errors, 2 left. At the end of 5 complete innings, Cubs 13, the Phillies nothing. Pittsburgh Pirates 3, and it's all over at Kansas City. Final Kansas City 15, Seattle 3. Score of this ball game 13-0 in favor of the Cubs. As we move to the 6th inning, gentlemen, if you blow this lead, I'll guarantee you none of us better show up here anymore. Even all winter wouldn't be enough time for him to cool off.
Product of Libertyville. George Vukovic went in to play left field, and he's batting for the first time. Unser will be next. So Mike Krukow. Boy, he got to feel like he's on easy street, Lou.
Well, he better.
The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike.
I wonder in his short career whether he's ever had a 13-0 lead before.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He'll be able to tell you.
Yes, he will.
Hop down the left side. Pitcher. Now who's going to call for it? Krukow did himself. I guess he thought with the way the wind's blowing and Blackwell going to have a little talk with him now. That could have been a little mess.
Yeah, well, Krukow just said, just let a sure man take it. That's all. I wasn't going to wait for Waller, who was way out of position. He was in foul territory. He'd have never been there. And the wind was blowing away from Blackwell. So actually, the only man to make the play was Krukow.
So you got it right. Says
that's the first
let
time.
the sure man do it.
That's right.
Unser batting for the first time today. It's his second at bat in the series. He's 0 for 1. Schmidt will be next, and I wouldn't be surprised after Schmidt bats again. He'll probably get him out of there. Foul back. Well, as we go to Pittsburgh, New York, and Philadelphia, the Phillies go home with the Mets, the Cardinals, and then have us for the weekend.
Yes, they're at home now the rest of the way.
That's right out in front of the plate, and Timmy Blackwell right out there like a cat. That's the way to do it.
And after today's home game in Montreal, they will be on the road for a week. They go to St. Louis for 2 big games, Monday night and Tuesday night. And it looks as if St. Louis is changing things around now by scoring some runs. So that should be an interesting series. And then Montreal goes to Philadelphia for 2 before closing out in New York for 3.
All right, here is Mike Schmidt. He's walked and flied to center in this game. Just missed a home run in the 4th inning. Morales settled in it.
I thought Morales was going to watch it go
up on the hitting background, didn't you?
He really nonchalanted that one.
1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody on, 2 away. Krukow working in the 6th inning. I'm not superstitious or anything, but I'd like to get another run.
No, you're not superstitious.
I don't want to get on an airplane after scoring 13. That's what I'm talking about. 1-2, and we leave tonight to go to
Pittsburgh.
Doubleheader tomorrow, and we'll be on the TV side at 5 o'clock Chicago time. Who are we pitching over there?
I think Griffin is one of the pitchers, and then Joey hasn't made up his mind as yet.
Howell might pitch one of the games.
Yes.
He pitched a good game against the Pirates right after we brought him up.
Right, he's loosening up right now.
I saw Kravic loosening a while ago, too.
Yeah.
There's Howard. Jay Howard. Struck him out. Boy, Krukow is winging now. It's his 4th strikeout. Gets him 3 up and 3 down. We have played into the middle of the 6th, and Krukow walking to that dugout knowing he's in pretty good shape. He's in front 13-0. Well, he's had 2 for 3 in this game, driven in a run and scored a run. Ryne Sanderson is their new shortstop.
Sandberg, I'm sorry. Sanderson pitched so well against us, I can't get him off our mind here.
Or Gullickson or any one of those.
That's right.
Exposed right-handers.
So Sandberg is the shortstop. And Avias moves from short over to third. Schmidt has left the game as we thought he would, Lou, after he batted again.
Yes.
No sense. They got a tough week coming up. Plus, they got to start tuning off for that first tier of playoffs.
This is right. Green will keep his regulars, if you want to call them regulars, in there for 3 or 4 times at bat to keep their timing up, and then probably give him a rest. He doesn't want any injuries at this particular time. Games do not mean anything to them right now, unless they try to finish up high, of course, in the Eastern Division. They've already have the first half clinched.
Yeah, they just got to be ready for that first game.
So Blackwell is on with a walk. We have not seen this read before, have we?
No.
It's his second walk, third walk of a Cub in the game. Here is Tabler. Boy, would it be something if he has found his major league stroke.
Oh, it would be great, along with Waller, who certainly is doing a great job, not only defensively but offensively at third base.
That's a ball. Tabler, the first 2 hitters in this game, Smith and Rose, made 2 plays on 2 difficult balls. And on a double play, he got rid of the ball in excellent shape.
His reactions are tremendous. They're quick. They're sure reactions. And he's got such a strong arm that he can make a mistake and still get the man out at first base, make the play.
White Sox 8, Oakland 5. They've played 7 innings. That's some comeback by the White Sox, because Oakland got 5 in the first and knocked Baumgarten reeling. High fly ball, right field. Gross over. He dropped it. Now Blackwell's going to have to hurry, and he will be out at second base. But you can't blame Timmy for that.
No, it looked like he had it right in his glove.
Oh, sure.
Which he did. It hit him right in the pocket and dropped out.
Take another look, Lou.
Here's the fly ball by Tabler near the foul line, but he had plenty of room. He's under it when he gets over it. See him take a little glance at the wall. He's under it, reaches up for the ball, and hits him right on the heel and then drops. Unfortunately, his relay throw went right to the second baseman, and he relayed it to the shortstop to force Blackwell.
Mike Krukow got a nice hand as he steps in. He had a base hit in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Well, the San Diego Chargers are finding out how the other half lives. It's 28-0 Denver over them at halftime.
Krukow is swinging away, so he's apt to hit into a double play. If he don't, before I leave, I want to pay my respects to Mr. Brickhouse. This is my last opportunity to, as I'll go over to the radio, and I just want to wish him the best, as if he were my brother or my father. And he's done so much for me in this particular profession. I can't just give him justice in words. And he's been a pioneer in baseball, pioneer in broadcasting over 40 years. And I'm quite sure that his voice will be missed by many sports fans throughout the country.
And that comes from a guy who knew him as a player and a manager.
Yes, indeed.
And as a fellow broadcaster.
Correct.
Nice going, Lou.
Thank you.
Halftime, Tampa Bay leads St. Louis Cardinals 6-3. Like Sparky Lyle loosening down there. There's a strikeout on Krukow, but don't worry about it, Mike.
Now, get him out, Mike. That's all you have to do. Your teammates have taken care of the offense.
Jerry Morales has had a good game starting in center here. He's had a couple of hits, driven in a run, and scored a run. DeJesus would be next. We're in the 6th inning. 1 ball and no strikes. Cubs got him in clusters here today. Pittsburgh has moved within a run of St. Louis. 6-5 now, Lou?
Yes, 6-5. St. Louis batting in the bottom of the 8th inning. So that game isn't over yet. New York still holding on to a 1-0 lead over Montreal after a 2-hour delay. They're in the bottom of the 5th.
19797, 18,783 of them paid on Fan Appreciation Day. Jerry figures, what the heck?
Go after it.
Go for it. Third strikeout for Reed. Thank you, Lou.
All right.
See you in Pittsburgh. Don't be late for the player who went into center in the 5th inning is going to bat for the first time. 1 for 1 this season. One of the utility players used by Dallas Green here today. And a strike to make it 0-2. Mike Krukow pitching in the 7th, and he's out in front. 13-0. Trying to gain a split here today and get the Phillies out of town with a loss. Cubs have not beaten them in 8 tries coming into this game this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dernier looks at a waste pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Mike Krukow tries to get even for the season. He'll probably get 1 more start, probably in New York. Bouncer going to make it up the middle. He hit a 2-2 pitch. Bounced right out over the middle for a base hit. That is their 6th hit in the game. And it will bring up Bob Boone. Detroit edged Milwaukee 2-1. Petrie the winner. Lurch the loser. But Detroit Tigers a winner over the Brewers 2-1. So they change places. Detroit goes back on top. Boston and Cleveland are tied. They're in the 10th. No, Cleveland just got a run to go ahead 8-7. Cleveland would win that. Boston would slip back. Boston and Detroit both started today a half game behind the Brewers. Very interesting in both divisions in the American League. Fly ball, left field. Henderson there. Boone is out. 1 away in the Philly 7th. Here is Ramon Avias. 1 for 1 this series. Drove in a run with it. Fouls it out of play back to the right side. Just misses the upper deck for a souvenir. We have 3 in Pittsburgh in 2 nights, including a twilight doubleheader tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock Chicago time on Channel 9. Off speed, misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Then Wednesday night and Thursday night will be at Shea with the Mets, and next weekend we'll be in Philadelphia. Week from today we wrap it up. Smashed up the middle. Come on, Kruk. Don't get careless here. They've got runners at 1st and 3rd. Hit number 7 off Mike Krukow. That will bring up Aguayo. Luis Aguayo will be stepping in for the first time today. He's also 1 for 1 in this series. A strike at the knees, and it's 0-1. Cleveland beat Boston 8-7 in 11 innings. That's a strike. Make it 0-2. Middle of the 2nd quarter in football. Cowboys lead the Giants 10-3. Halftime, Saints and 49ers tied 7-7. Foul back, and it's still 0-2. Dernier led off with a single. Boone flied the left. Avias had a base hit. So they've got runners on the corners, and Aguayo is the batter. No balls, 2 strikes. 1-2. Halftime, Kansas City Chiefs, a young club that's come together in a hurry, leading Seattle 20-7. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phillies with runners on the corner against Krukow here in the 7th inning. And he struck him out. That's number 5 for Mike. Makes it 2 away. Matusek will be the pinch hitter for Reed. Three for 6 this season with 1 run batted in. Len Matusek. Krukow working with a 13-0 lead. Ball 1 and no strikes. Gross is the on-deck hitter. St. Louis got a run in the 8th. So it's now St. Louis 7, Pittsburgh 5 as they go to the 9th inning at St. Louis. After that long rain delay, Montreal and New York have played 5 innings now. Mets are still leading the Expos 1-0. 2-2. And of course tonight on Channel 9 on the 9 o'clock news, John Drury and the crew that includes Bill Frink and the sports. Highlights of this doubleheader. Some memories of Jack Brickhouse as they've been up filming him in the booth. And of course all the other scores, baseball and football. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Took a pretty good pitch. You wonder how he took it. Dernier at third. Avias at first, 2 away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cubs way out in front, as you can see. All right, the payoff. He struck him out. That's the way to do it, as he gives him that good low heater. Now has 6 strikeouts, and he's walked only 1. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. And so for the last time in 1981, the fans at Wrigley Field are going to take their stretch, and they've got something to salute here now with the Cubs in front 13-0.
Bless you. Boy. I echo that one, pal. Good luck, Milo.
Thank you, buddy.
You can't go wrong with this crowd. I'll tell you that right now.
The greatest fans in the world are right here in this ballpark day after day. All right, here is Sparky Lyle on now. DeJesus leading it off in the bottom of the 7th. He's had 1 hit, single in the 4th inning, and he scored our 8th run. Oh, the Cubs have pounded out 16 hits, good for 13 runs. Talk about a rocking chair, and no problem with having fun in this one. Fly ball to right. Gross is there. DeJesus is out. Here is Buckner, and he'll get another hand. He's had about 3 standing ovations here today. Here's another one. Buckner homered in the 3rd. Had a 2-run double in the 4th. Boy, what a finish he could have. And we go on the road for 3 cities: Pittsburgh, New York, and Philadelphia. I want to thank Sherry Corpus. She's a regular fan out here, and her biggest hobby is taking pictures of the ball players and being a part of the scene. Never fails when she takes one of me, she sends it up. She must be a good cameraman. I don't look too bad in that picture. Bob Vasilopoulos says, "Are you kidding?" 1 ball and 1 strike. You know, A lot of these folks we won't see again till opening day next year. It's nice of them to give you something to remember them by for the winter. St. Louis hangs on to beat the Pirates 7-5. LaPointe the winner, Perez the loser. Foul back by Billy Buck. Halftime, Dallas 10, New York Giants 3. In this series, Buckner has gone 8 for 12, raised his batting average from .305 to .316. That's going to push him right up in there. He could end up 4th and maybe as high as 3rd, depending what Baker does today at Houston. And remember, just a couple days ago, he had slipped to 10th. He's going to move right back up in the middle of the top 10 with this series. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, what a comeback the White Sox had today. That's getting up off the deck at Oakland. You get 5 thrown at you in the first inning. Now leading 9-5. Look at that wind blowing around. Nobody on, 1 down. High fly ball, right field, going, gone! Holy Toledo, what a series for Bill Buckner. He is hotter than a depot stove. $14-0. Give me a high five, says the Bull. And another standing ovation for Buckner. Hits it off of a left-hander. Well, he did just what I wanted him to do. He got us off at 13. 2 home runs in this game, 1 in the first game. 5 of his home runs have been off Philly pitching. Fans are all saying down there, what do we have to quit now for? Let's play here again tomorrow. .318 batting average for Buckner. That would put him into a tie for 3rd, even if Baker stays even. Bouncer 2nd. Got him, and it's 2 down. 70 runs batted in and a .318 batting average. Here's the home run swing. A pitch that Lyle got up. He threw him a mistake, and Billy Buck jumped on it. Sheffield, there it comes. So it's 2 away now. Here is Henderson. Henderson's had 3 for 3 in this game, plus a walk. One ball and no strikes. When Philly won the first game today with Carlton, they went ahead of us in the standings. I say there's a good chance we're going to send them out of town back behind us. All right, Gross. Is he going to find it? No. You knew he was in trouble when he put up both of his hands to try to find it again. And Henderson's going to end up at 3rd base. Just then, not only did he lose it in the sun, he couldn't find it to pick it up again. And Henderson, ever hustling, ends up at 3rd. Now here it is, life's little embarrassing moments. The Cubs had a few of them in the first game, you'll remember. Whoops. Now, which one is it? Is it the hot dog wrapper or is it the ball? Yep, see the second baseman. Second base. Aguayo. He's looking for the ball everywhere except right at his feet. Here it is again on the fly ball. It's a double and an error 4 if you're keeping a card. Double for Henderson, his 2nd double today, and his 6th of the year. The E4 allows Henderson to get over to 3rd. All right, Tyrone, why stop now? Give these fans something to talk about. He just shortstop. Oh, he called him out, and he couldn't have been.
Waller didn't like it. Kleins didn't like it. I'll tell you one thing. If this was a 1-0 game, you'd have really seen some rhubarb at first base. Now watch this. Sandberg, the shortstop. And remember, Waller's running and he can fly. Bang, bang. If there's any ties going to runners, that should have. Billy Buckner getting a standing ovation because he's leaving the game with the score 14-0 Chicago. First baseman Buckner left. You saw him get the big ovation. Scotty Fletcher's the shortstop. DeJesus has left the game. And Gross is the batter leading off in the 8th inning. And Jack, boy, what a way to wrap it up here today, huh?
Well, 14-0 is about as rip-roaring and rousing a finish as the Cubs could possibly offer their fans on this final day of 1981. That is the final home game. Cubs, of course, take to the road. We have a doubleheader at Pittsburgh tomorrow. And Pittsburgh is battling back, aren't they?
No, they got beat.
Oh, is it all over there?
Cardinals beat them 7-5.
Score of this ball game, as we said, 14-0. Let me tell you something, Milo. This is some kind of a ball game.
You got a
really
scorecard to match it.
Well, the old story, I could turn this scorecard into a Chinese laundry and get 3 shirts for it. So, 1 away.
Hit that smash. Gross hit it hard back to Krukow, but he knocked it down and stayed with it.
1 away. That brings up Vukovic.
Well, Carlton would have had a Valenzuela for the strikeout king mark for the season in the National League. But Valenzuela's going to start now against Sutton in the Astrodome. So unless he really gets bombed early, he's going to go back in front. That could go right down to their last start.
There's a high pop foul, and what do you know? The wind gave the Cubs a break on that one, kept it in the playing area, and Timmy Blackwell was able to grab it. That's 2 out. Now here's Del Unser, the pride of Decatur, Illinois. One time Del was bat boy for the ball club down there in Decatur, and that's right. Cubs with Henderson, Morales, and Durham in left, center, and right. Waller, Fletcher, Tabler, Thompson, the infield third to first. The 2 Scotts in the ball game now, Scott Thompson and Scott Fletcher. Krukow and Blackwell the battery. And that curveball comes in there beautifully. Mike, by the way, is mixing them up pretty well today. He's got them all going, hasn't he?
Well, and of course now, with this big lead, and they've got their big bats out of there.
And here is the first baseman,
Scotty
Thompson, mishandling this one. I think he took his eye off that ball, Milo.
Yep, E3.
Yep, that'll be an error on Scotty. And there's a school of thought that says first base is his natural position. But if that's true, then he may have to wait a little while before he gets the job, because Mr. Buckner, I think, can play first base for the Chicago Cubs about as long as he wants to. If he's traded now, I would be real surprised, unless he wants to be.
And if there was any message left here today by this crowd, he only got about 5 standing ovations here today.
Fly ball, right center, and lost totally in the sun by Durham. Never even made a move for the ball, and probably couldn't have gotten to it had he tried because it had eyes. But I'm pretty sure that Leon out there this time of day can certainly be, we can understand why you'd have a little trouble with one like that.
Anybody on the right side now, infield or outfield, is not only fighting this gale that's blowing, but a difficult sun angle right now.
Here's Dernier, 2 for 2. Runners on first and third.
Well, Mike got in a little trouble in the 7th, but struck out Aguayo and pinch hitter Matuzek. Let's see if he can get out of this mess also.
That's a ball. Ball one, strike one. Mike Krukow working on a shutout. Only walked one. He struck out 6. Fly ball, center field. Morales moving in and over. And he one-hands it, and that takes care of that. No runs. 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left. Let's go now to the Cub half of number 8. Score of the ball game is still the Chicago Cubs 14, the Philadelphia Phillies. Half of number 8. This should be the last turn at bat for the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field in 1981. If it isn't, there may be a congressional investigation. They are leading 14-0. If they bat in the 9th today, we're going to be here a while. Timmy Blackwell is going to lead off. He'll be followed by Pat Tabler, then the pitcher Mike Krukow. They're early in the 3rd period, Milo, and Kansas City leads Seattle 20-14.
Tug McGraw will be their new pitcher, Jack.
Old Tug.
Well, the San Diego Chargers may wonder what happened. Denver's so far out in front now that they'll never get back. Middle of the 3rd, Denver leading San Diego 35-0.
So here's Tug, one of the great pressure pitchers of all time. Boy, has he proven that a few times in recent years, huh?
He can put it on.
Oh, man. And I just so thoroughly admire Tug for a lot of things, not the least of which is that comeback he made from that bad arm. He had one of those operations where it was so bad that when he did come back, the first tosses he took, and I saw him do it, were maybe from 10 feet, 12 feet, no more. There's a high fly, left field. In comes left fielder Vukovic, and George handles this one. 1 away. That brings up second baseman Pat Tabler. Well, the kid got his first major league homer the first time up today in the 2nd inning. And I remember the interview I had with him about a week and a half ago, in which he said, well, he said, I should be able to hit with power because after all, he's what, about 6'3", weighs about 195 pounds, and he has good range, good leverage. And he said, I should. He said, but it's just a question, I suppose, of the fact that I'm pressing too hard, or I need something to help me get my confidence that would let me know that I can hit major league pitching. He said, and one of these days I'm going to pop one out of here, and then I'm going to be all right, I think. Well, he certainly got one out of here today, and it certainly helped him the next time up because he doubled then. So it could be that Pat Tabler may be coming into his own today as we look at him here at Wrigley Field. Every scout you talk to has said he's a can't miss. Ball 1, strike 2, as I think Tug threw his screwball that time. And of course his screwball is one of the best. Outfield straight away. Wind still blowing out 23 miles an hour. Foul ball. Into the crowd to the right of the screen. Ball 1, strike 2. It's 5 o'clock Central Daylight Savings Time. WGN Television 9 Chicago, America's #1 sports station. We've got guys all over here from the other stations around town who are visiting the booth today. I hope they don't hit me on top of the head with their cameras because I said that. 2-2. Hey, we're invited to a party over at the bleachers. Ray, the bleacher right across from center field there. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it, but it's nice of that gang. And one of these days we'll be able to spend a little time there and at the Cubby Bear Lounge and the Sportsman's and a few other places around here. The brew house that we've really always wanted to spend some time in, but because of the responsibility of the ball game, of course, and the schedule you're on, you can't always do it. But there's where some great fans hang out, I'll tell you. They really are. Ball 2, strike 2. Highlights on the news at 9. And boy, have we got them for this game, huh?
Yeah, let's throw away the first game.
Foul ball.
Although we had a couple of home runs in that game.
2-2. There's a ground ball out to the shortstop. Sandberg up with it. Tabler's out. That'll bring up Krukow, who should get a fine hand from this crowd. He really should get a great one. There he is, and here's the hand. Well, a lot of folks are standing up for Mike right now. 2 out. Nobody on, and nobody's going to worry about it. Cubs 14, Philadelphia nothing, as the Cubs finally break loose from an 0-8 pattern against these Philadelphia Phillies. Strike one.
And with Pittsburgh having lost at St. Louis, give us something to go on tomorrow in that doubleheader.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
The Pirates now know they're not going anywhere, if they didn't know it already.
That's pretty well hit, deep to left. The wind's going to hold it in, and that was gone on an ordinary day. We'll give Krukow technical credit for a home run on that one and tell him about it later. But anyway, Vukovich is able to handle it. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 8, Cubs 14, Phillies nothing. Hey, I want you to see this booth. Look at here. Hey, everybody look that way. Now look the other way. We got Tim Weigel and Chet Kopic in here, and of course their crews with them. Tim Weigel in his America's Marathon outfit. Chet Kopic in his Sunday afternoon finery. Well, talk about a reunion, huh? I've never been so flattered in my life. Never been so flattered in my life, man.
All right, here's McCormack. And the first pitch to him is a ball. Krukow, an inning away from his first shutout of the year. We've only had one other one, and that was by Bird. Lined in the left and a leadoff single. So McCormack starts it off with a base hit.
Late in the third period, is now Denver 35, San Diego 7. San Diego finally got a score. The White Sox won that first game by a 9-5 score. Hoyt the winner, Langford the loser.
Took Baumgarten off the hook, didn't they?
Yep. That's the first game of a doubleheader.
Are we going out there after this?
Oh, yes. San Francisco 14, New Orleans 7, the middle of the third quarter on a pass from Montana to Solomon. Jack Rosenberg and I remember Mr. Solomon.
Avias looks at a low pitch from Krukow, and the count is even at 1-1.
It's Koosman against Keogh in that second White Sox-Oakland game.
So they'll see almost all of the second game, won't they?
Yeah, sure.
Good off-speed curveball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Phillies won the first game here 5-2. Krukow trying to end it mercifully here. High foul out of play down the right side. We'll be on at 5 o'clock tomorrow Chicago time with the Twinighter from Three Rivers with the Pirates. Play there on Tuesday night, be in New York Wednesday and Thursday. Next weekend, wrap it up for another year with a 3-game series with the Phillies, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lines it to Scotty Fletcher, 1 away.
All right.
Got away with a hanging curve, but when you're leading by this score, go ahead and risk it. That'll bring up Aguayo. Aguayo's been up once. That was in the 7th inning, and he struck out. Good fastball. Opened up on a heater with him after showing the other hitter the off-speed curve. Aguayo, the batter. And looks like Davis is down there. He started the Friday game. And that is Davis on deck. Let's get a double play and get out of here. Good play. No double play, but they sure tried it.
Boy,
Scotty Fletcher just made a heck of a play. Scotty Fletcher's going to go a long way to get this ball. Now watch this. He's got to go back into the hole, turn, throw to Tabler, forces McCormack. Now it's 2 away, and this will be Davis. Davis will be batting in the pinch hitter's role here. In limited play, .352 average. Dick Davis. He went 0 for 4 in the Friday game. He's up here now with a runner at first, and the crowd's starting to get up. They want Krukow to end it.
Well, the Cubs are 1-16 in shutouts. Let's get one at home here.
And the other game was lopsided when Bird shut out the Cardinals for the only other shutout of the year by a Cub. He beat them 10-0 when he beat Sorensen. That was when we started the sweep of that series at St. Louis in the last trip.
So this would be our first shutout
at home.
At home. Let's
this
get it.
Should be it. Waller. All right. And the Cubs win the final game at home. And they did it in a lopsided manner. Krukow hugs Timmy Blackwell, who caught him in another fine game.
All right, Mike.
They blasted out 18 hits. The Cubbies have shown their appreciation to the fans and to everybody here by knocking off the Phillies in a game that they really needed, because the Phillies had come in here and done a job on the Cubs on Friday. Then Carlton did it in the first game today, and Krukow gets the handshakes all the way around. So we'll be back to take a look at the totals in a 14-0 Cub victory.
18 hits, 1 error, 7 left. Philadelphia, no runs, 9 hits, 2 errors, 9 left. Ruthven, the loser. Ruthven now is 11-7. Krukow, the winner, and it's so good to see Mike even up for the year. He's up at 9-9 now after that very slow start. Time of the game, 2:31. And Milo, I never did catch the attendance figure. I guess you got it, didn't you?
Just about 19,000 paid.
Very good. Very good.
That'll be close enough for now.
Well, as I said, it is terrific to see the Chicago Cubs do what they've done here today, coming back from a disheartening first game, of course, when they lost to Carlton. And, of course, Steve was still Steve. He had that usual 10 or 11 strikeouts. Now, let's see how many he did get. Yeah, he got 11. Only 11. Slow day.
That's right.
But anyway, we're going to have a final word here, Milo and I, right after.
I'm going to see. I'm going to go draw a couple of cards.
Yeah, you got the year. You have weather problems and so forth. The Cubs find themselves now scheduled for successive doubleheaders. At 9 o'clock tonight, the Cubs are going to take the Big Silver Bird to Pittsburgh, and tomorrow evening we'll be with them at Pittsburgh. Milo and Lou and Vince and I and all the rest of us and Arnie, as the Cubs wind up the final week of 1981, this time on the road. It'll start out with a very important doubleheader at Pittsburgh. And, of course, even though it would take a minor miracle, minor miracles have happened before, and the Cubs are still in the pennant race. As long as they're mathematically able to say so, that means they're in it. And that's the way we've always looked at it and always will. This is Fan Appreciation Day here at Wrigley Field. And even though the doubleheader has ended, the fans are still standing around because the Cubs are still giving away prizes down here because of fan appreciation. And believe me, if ever a ball club felt an appreciation toward the fans, it's the Chicago Cubs who feel appreciation toward these fans in the city of Chicago. And it's been that way for many years. They feel a tremendous obligation to these fans. The new ownership has pledged that they will definitely improve this ball club. In my own heart, I honestly feel that they'll do the job. And speaking of fan appreciation, as a fan, and believe me, I'll always be a fan, let me express my appreciation to the Cubs organization for all these years, and to WGN and the Chicago Tribune organization all these years, and all the people associated with both organizations for the privilege of being on this scene. I intend to stay on the scene for a while. I'm moving away from play-by-play.